Yes. It's a great time to be an Aussie cricket lover, because finally you have vanquished the old enemy yet again. The Aussies really did a lot of rain dances, I'm pretty sure about that. And at the end of the day, you're seeing that the weather, for once, in a very fickle place like England, it has stayed true. Day 5 completely washed out. We are seeing 100% chances of rain. It happened. Because of that, the match in Manchester is drawn, and drum rolls please, Australia have retained the Ashes, and for 2 more years, the urn stays down under.
I've got to say that I feel for this English team. They were clearly the better team in this test match. And we had been speaking about this Ashes series as being one of the best cricket series that we're watching. And I think it could have become even better had this game gone its full distance. Unfortunately, that wasn't to be the case. The weather gods intervened and ensured that you couldn't get, you barely got
3 days.
A few overs on day 4 and then no play at all on day 5, which means a test match which would definitely heading towards a result was not possible. Now, overall, if you take a look at this test match, I think clearly, there's no debate about it, England have been undone here. They were the favourite, they should have won the match. Having said that, if there was some play today, who knows what could have happened, because Mitch Marsh was still there. Australia's batting was pretty deep. They were almost down and out, but then you had someone like Manas Labuschagne come and get 100 and revive it. So there was 60 short. Get 60, get a few more runs. Who knows? It could have been a tricky day. But I think the chances of that happening would have been about 15% or so. If you'd ask me, I'd say at best 20%. Or 15 I think would be better. You'd have to say 85% it was England's game, had the game gone the full distance. And it would have been then fun to have had the last game, which would have decided which way the Ashes go, which would have been played at the Oval. That's not to be. So, got a feel for this English team. But the question that I have now is, did England, knowing that there was going to be a bit of weather about, make a blunder not declaring, because the cameras were on Ben Stokes, I remember, when they were going well, and he kept saying, carry on, no worries. What do you say?
Yes, from declaring too prematurely in Edgbaston to not declaring at all.
What would have happened? Give me the scenario. What they declare at what time, what happened?
Okay, if suppose you had a lead of just about 200 runs.
That means, just go down, that means how many run lead did they get in all?
275.
A lead of 275. So you're saying 75 runs before that.
Before that.
So when they got about 517,
520, exact 200 run lead. Okay,
you declare.
Okay, you would have gotten at least 40 overs when the sun was out. So
let's say 40 more overs.
Plus the 30 you had on day 4.
But I'm saying at best you would have, with a 200 run lead, by now Australia would have gone ahead with 4 wickets in hand. Right? They are right now 60 short.
60 short, yeah.
With how many? In
5 down.
5 wickets in hand.
Yeah.
So they would have leveled with 5 wickets in hand. And let's say the game goes the full distance. You don't know how many they get from there. They get another 200, England are in trouble.
Because I'll tell you why. You could have used your pacers, Vokes and Wood, completely in tandem on day 3.
But they used them as much as they could.
But then they couldn't use them on day 4. Because what happened on day 4? Stokes asked the umpires, why couldn't I use the pacers? Umpire Joel Wilson is wearing dark shades. Now, is he trying to...
No, but then you have the meter, no?
They have the meter, but then the English commentators themselves bemused. Okay, it's supposed to be dark. Light is an issue. Why would you want to wear dark shades?
That's fine.
And it's maybe a style statement. But then look, Joe Root got the only wicket that happened on day 4, isn't it? But only Root and Moeen could bowl. So the chances of penetrating this deep Australian batting lineup, you had to ensure that you got the most damage on day 3 itself. And you ate up valuable time for what? Let us be very honest about it, Johnny Bairstow's 100. You wanted Bairstow's 100.
The other day you were saying they will do it for India also, no? For Virat, they will wait, let him get to 100. So what wrong did England do then?
I mean, you lost the Ashes. Simple. Yeah. From a premature declaration that you did in Edgbaston, when you had time, when you knew and remember, the weather was not a secret.
I, on the other hand, feel that, they were very sure that, okay, 275 run lead. I think they were also taking into account the weather, and they were like, okay, let's put them into bat and maybe win it by an innings. Why not? They would have backed themselves.
Yeah, I'm saying if the way the game panned out at that time, again, it's very tough for you to plan for the weather. As I said, if they had given a 200-run lead right now, as the game progresses the way it is, Australia is level terms with 5 wickets in hand. Assuming they get another 200 run, set a target of 200 for England, you're in trouble. You don't know what the rain is going to be like. So I don't think he, in a way, did anything wrong. I think that's what they needed to do to win. Again, weather, you also know, changes by the day. When you're looking at the weather, one day it said it'll rain, next day it changes, it won't rain. So I don't think England could have planned it that way. I think it's pure bad luck.
It is bad luck.
In a game that they were far ahead in, it rained out. But
I don't think the declaration even late. I don't think the declaration came.
That's what I'm saying. It wouldn't have done. It wouldn't have done much.
Because look, you already had Australia on the mat on day 2. Remember, day 2, the way Bazball wasn't played, and Cummins looked short. He just was struggling, and that is the reason why I'll say you could have had you could have gotten them maybe 1 hour after the lunch break. Get them in. You're already gotten a 200-run lead. Who knows? The Australian openers would not have been able to survive that onslaught, by the way. Because you had 2 sessions of batting. I think you gave, Australia had a psychological, they knew the weather was there. It wasn't a secret. We just had to bat out 1.5 sessions. Let's see what happens on day 4. But day 4 will hurt them for 2 reasons. One, you could not have employed the pacers because of the light. And also because the other bowlers did not make a dent in the Australian batting. Labuschagne chose that particular day to step up and score a century. His second overseas term. So yes, all factors conspired. But already, if you have to look at it, you had lost a very decisive edge in Edgbaston.
Yeah, but that's gone. I mean, they came out well. Played well. Full credit to the team that is England to fight back from being 2-0 down.
2-0 down,
and the way they fought back. So full credit to them to have done that. Unfortunate that the rain comes out. Lots of questions. Let's take a few questions. Sports fan says, I was surprised 2 days back only when England were not declaring, since weather was already known for the last 2 days, and then also England were not ruthless enough to get Manas and Marsh out. Maybe if it was that easy that you could get wickets at will like do this and you get a wicket, then cricket would have been that much easier. I think they tried, but give credit. You expect that from a team like Australia. You will have some sort of resistance somewhere.
Labuschagne was very, very disciplined, and for once he did not get. He was not totally like a deer in the headlights while facing the pacers. I mean, remember
he got hit a few times. He was gritty.
He channeled that inner mongrel of 2019. Remember, his first introduction to Test cricket in the Ashes was a bouncer from Jofra Archer that hit him flush on the side of the helmet. But he continued, and look, the master might have failed, but the apprentice really, really did well.
Sarvesh Gaurav is saying, why no reserve day? Do ICC want to save Test? But they can't possibly have reserve day for Test matches now.
For bilateral series in particular, why?
I do not think they for WTC you understand it's a one-off final.
It's a final.
But for bilaterals, you have very tough schedule to follow. I have to move to the next, to the next, to the next. So I doubt whether you could do that. I don't know, maybe something that they can look at in the future. What do you reckon of the idea?
This is the situation.
No, today
weather has come.
People are talking about 4-day Test matches. You are saying keep a reserve.
But today you are saying it for Ashes. The next time you'll say it for BGT. Then again,
everything. The rule comes in.
Exactly.
No.
I don't think it's possible. Logistically, financially.
Yeah.
One of WTC finally
Yes,
do it.
keep it for that only. For a bilateral series, it's a nightmare.
Because traveling, touring, and it's
Yeah.
not just for the players, their arrangement for venues, for the broadcasters, the journalists. There's a whole jing bang that travels.
And remember, if you have a reserve day in all the tests, remember the turnaround time also is just 4 days for oval. You just have 4 more days. So
that's what I'm saying, logistically.
not possible.
Too much.
Not possible.
Harit Yadav wants to know, big hit to England's WTC chances, you reckon, especially with India away next?
Yeah, I mean, you would want to win most of your home games. But unfortunately with England, like in 2019, your first series is the Ashes. What do? And Australia are a much better team on form. Yeah. They won the World Test Championship. They now retained the Ashes. Yeah. So yeah, England, it is a big hit. And remember, with India, they haven't done much for 10 years now in India. So that's why, again, if they're confronted with those sandpits in Ahmedabad, Chennai, Delhi, Indore, Bangalore, it's not, I don't think they can play that kind of a Bazball approach in those pitches. The real test for Bazball, I mean, Australia are a great bowling side, but it will be India also. On those wickets, remember, on indoor style, you can't play Bazball. It will be counterproductive in a big, big way. So that's why it's going to be a big problem. But, okay, well, let's take another question.
Yeah,
why it's draw? It should have NR. No, it's not an ODI. Jay Patel, it's not an ODI.
Yeah.
Shubham Mondal is saying Oz were lucky to retain in 2019 and as an England fan, very disappointed with Shubham Mondal. Oz were lucky to retain in 2019. I think it's the other way around, my friend. It was England. Remember, England could have very well lost the series 3-1. The only test where you outplayed Australia was the Oval. I'm sorry. Edgbaston, you are undone by a Steve Smith masterclass. At Lord's. Lord's traditionally, Australia have always been the favourites. You survived, I mean, Nathan Lyon.
Lord's was also Steve Smith 100, no?
Where? No, Lord's was 92.
Yeah.
92.
In Leeds, you are lucky that Nathan Lyon fumbled and Australia used up all their reviews. You are lucky. And you had a clutch player in Ben Stokes.
Yeah.
Old Trafford, you were outplayed. You only won at the Oval. So 2019, England were lucky to be alive. But in 2023, again, you lost it in Edgbaston thanks to a poor declaration. And also you couldn't take the last 2 wickets, I'm sorry.
What's Jay Patel saying? Why is it a draw? It should have been net run rate.
No result.
Achha, okay.
It's not an ODI, that's not it. It's not an ODI. No, sir, England unlucky in Lord's Test. Of course, the rain and all that. Come on, Shubham. I mean, you're just clutching on to straws.
What is he saying?
He's saying that Australia were very lucky to retain the Ashes in 2019.
Acha, 19.
Don't agree.
Roko na yaar.
Yeah. Shubham Garg is saying, even on third day, only Wood Vokes look threatening. England has themselves to blame. Why James Anderson playing when Tongue performed in Lord's Test? I mean, yeah. Dropping
That I think we discussed earlier.
Joshua Tongue.
Would have been there. Jason Malcolm's got a similar thought. He says early declaration might have put pressure on Australia to stay on the crease, and maybe Manas and Australia would see those 2 rainy days a long wait.
I do agree. You should have gotten them in earlier. I mean,
no, yeah, but
are we not confident of a 200-run lead? 200 runs I'm talking about. And remember, this is not the first time that a 270 plus lead has come back to bite a certain team. You would all, as Indian fans would know, in 2001 Kolkata, 171 India bowled out for, Australia made 445, 274. They didn't force the follow on, but look how it changed. And that is why I'm saying, in this bowling attack, but why I'm saying this is, you had no secret of the weather. The weather stayed true. That's why you had to take whatever little passage of play you had. 30 overs, supposing in those 70 overs that they would have gotten, 40 or 50 overs. What if you would have taken 5 wickets? You would have not been bowling to Marnus Labuschagne on day 4. You could have potentially bowling at Alex Carey or Cameron Green. Root and Moeen could have spun a web around them. Who knows? That also could have happened.
Okay, Saurabh Mukhopadhyay is saying, should each and every team be inspired by English Bazball approach? I don't think so. By the way, the Bazball approach is also selective.
Yes.
It could have happened in this test in Manchester. It wouldn't have happened at Leeds.
Yeah.
Couldn't have happened at Leeds. So it's also, are you telling me that Bazball approach would work on the pitches you're getting in India?
No.
Chennai, Nagpur.
Only Ahmedabad
Indore.
maybe.
That also because of where the series was.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you would have got. You saw what happened. The pitches you got in Ahmedabad against England.
Yeah.
So in those pitches, you're telling me that approach will work? I
No
don't
way.
think so. So it has to be dependent on where you're playing, what condition. But if it's a flat patting track, then maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the kind of.
I mean, like
approach
those roads in Pakistan, that approach works. In England, it is.
pitch like Trinidad, like how India are playing now. In the
Yeah.
second
Yeah.
innings.
Yep. It is. Akash Bharadwaj saying, sir, feel bad for Stokes. Big fan of him. He was the only captain, I think, who could retain the Ashes. Yeah, he'll have to wait 2 more years. No, let's see.
2 cycles.
Yeah. One more cycle. He'll have to wait for 27. 25, 27 in that cycle, he'll have to wait for it. So that's why. Jay Patel saying Manchester and Sydney should not be allotted big games like Ashes. Always weather problem. Yeah, there is a call for Sydney. I mean, there has been so many rain washouts in Sydney. They're saying don't hold the New Year test there. But for Manchester, yeah, no test until 2031 in the Ashes. This was the last test. After 8 years, after 8 years only you'll see a test match there in Manchester.
Just रोक दीजिए please कहीं पे. Okay, Sanket Joshi wants to know comments on the new Joe Root who's hammering Aussie attack like at T20. I'm loving the new Joe Root. But also
Fantastic.
depending on the conditions.
Yeah.
I like the way actually how he approached the last test match also when they were chasing
Yeah.
and he still kept attacking. But you know what, he mixes it.
Yeah.
He knows how to play in a certain way and he can then get into a different gear also. So he has that ability, by the
But
way.
phenomenal transition for him, yeah. Somebody who played conventional cricket, first ball he's coming out to bat and he's
Reverse
doing
slams.
the reverse scoop and what not. It's
a pacer.
commendable.
That's why he's got an IPL contract also.
Yeah. What didn't work for him for 9 years in the Bazball era finally got to an IPL contract. Can you believe it? So it's really a big. And Sanket Joshi was asking, is it the last Ashes for Usman Khwaja and David Warner? I would think so, yes.
For Warner, of course,
Warner
we know
the
that.
best.
Warren definite. Usman
He's
Khwaja
always
also.
said that series at home is
Yeah.
going to be his last.
Because they are going to come back to England in 2027.
That's versus Pakistan, is it?
Yeah, Pakistan.
Pakistan. Yeah.
Next year, no?
23-24.
Ah.
That December-January period. And Khwaja, when he comes back to England in 2027, he'll already be 39. I don't think so. He's playing till that time. So, yeah, this is the Oval will be the last test for Warner and Khwaja. Ashes.
Ashes, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Sports fan says Australian bowlers had stopped even responding on third day. They knew about weather and hardly made any plans against England. Bazball during that passage. I don't know whether it was that or whether they were just ineffective. I think the toll on them having played so many test matches back to back, especially Cummins was also showing.
Yeah.
He does look tired. Remember they played that WTC final and then have now played 4 test matches. So 5 on the
Before
trot.
that, they were here.
Yeah. At least
No,
they got
although
a
Cummins
gap.
didn't play 3
Yeah.
out of the 4 tests that was there. So.
And then they got a gap also.
But that was also, he had to come back. He was with his mother.
Unfortunate, yeah.
It's been a tough time for him.
So that's why. But remember, there could be changes galore now for the Oval. Maybe Steve Smith could captain. Give Cummins a rest. Because Cummins has played 5 consecutive tests now. 6 consecutive.
No, but you retained.
Yeah.
But you'd still want to win the.
I mean, you're not won for
Yeah.
22 years in England.
Yeah. I doubt that will happen. Cummins going to play.
Cummins could, but then it'll take a big
Sir,
toll
he
on
had
his
a great
body.
outing as a captain, the WTC final at that same venue, yeah.
Yeah, but that was
And
the
now you're
first
gonna tell
test.
him no.
That was the first test because you may have to get in a Michael Neser for the Oval. You'll have to get him.
Yeah, there is-
This attack now is very tired. Let's be very honest about it. Stark, at least he didn't play 2 tests.
Then get Boland back.
Boland, Neser, man.
No, you're not going to make so many changes. I doubt.
Only one.
Sir will have his chance.
Yeah.
Not now. नीचे जाएंगे Saranshi, please. हाँ, please. Akash Bhadra wants to know, sir, is it true that Marsh would be the next captain in ODIs? That's an interesting one, not that I've heard of. There are certain reports. Could be, make a good
Interesting.
captain.
It can be, yeah. It can be a good captain in that sense. So, but again, yeah, I mean, when is the next ODI series for Australia coming up?
At home to India, isn't it?
Oh, directly in September.
Yeah.
Okay,
They'll be
wow.
coming here.
And that time you'll have your ODI captain and he will captain the World Cup. What a short turnaround time.
Could be.
Could be, yes.
Jay Patel is saying, are you guys camping your studio in New York, in New Jersey for next? Would love to see you guys live. Jay, we, not a studio, but possible that we do have some representation there. And then if that does happen, then yeah, you can catch up with whoever is there.
Yep.
Would love to meet you too. Vishnu Pradeep Warrior is saying he doesn't like our analysis.
Yeah.
Because that's fine. Maybe you're a better analyst than we are.
Yep.
And he says Vokes, Wood and the other pacers did bowl yesterday for one full hour and they all looked very flat. Joe Root was the only one who looked like getting a wicket. So did we say to the contrary?
No, I mean we said our only contention, Vishnu, is that we stressed on the fact that the pacers couldn't bowl for a sustained period of time, only for 1 hour out of the 2, because the light was bad. But then they didn't get that much of time also, because again, day 3 you had to declare early so that the pacers got far more time. Imagine if there were 5 or 6 down and then here you take 2 or 3 more wickets. What happens then? Yes, but I can argue to the contrary that they looked very flat, but it was Labuschagne and Mitchell Marsh playing very dark percentage cricket and surviving. I can argue in that sense also. So that's why, yep, to each his or her own. Ankar Vishwa saying almost 2 days match washed out only due to 592 scored in 108. Could we have had a result? Agree, totally agree. Karan Sutar is like saying, well, England is preparing flat serves just to justify their approach, which is destroying the true nature of England pitches. After 3 to 4 years, you might see the difference. There is no. I mean, I agree. There will be a negative undercurrent to Bazball in the coming years.
And they
Karan
can't.
Sutar's point you're saying, right?
Yeah, Karan Sutar's point.
Now, how will
Flat
they
tracks.
produce the kind of bowlers that they produce? They are only because the kind of wickets, the different conditions that you had. Every track, if it's going to be flat or after one point, just not going to help bowlers enough. And of course, how will you then make those kind of bowlers?
Maybe after this Ashes, you could see the end of one goat.
Like Ankit Kumar is saying, if England loses in India also, will they change their approach? He is not a big fan of Bazball. May not change their approach, they may. But as I said, it'll depend on condition. In India, if the pitches that you're being offering in India, I'd challenge them to play Bazball. If they do it, salute.
Yes,
Yeah.
and if they pull it off, that too. Shubham Garg
Here only in this Ashes series, they've changed it depending on the conditions.
Yeah. Shubham Garg, will Stokes play next Ashes? He's 32. Next Ashes will be in 2027. England players usually retire at 35, but then the next Ashes in Australia is in 2025. So, I think this knee, he'll take a call upon his knee situation. He's got a chronic knee. Hardly has bowled in this Ashes. So, maybe he'll take a call after 2023 World Cup. Let's see.
Okay, busy Sunday. I hope you guys have checked out all the videos that we've done. There are videos on Formula 1, videos on badminton. Great day for the Indian doubles pair beating the world number 1 and winning their 3rd big title, BWF title this year. So check that out. All the details are up on Sports Today. Of course, we had a great discussion on India A losing to Pakistan A. We'll take your leave now. It's raining in Trinidad, so I think next we'll be live during tea time, as and when that happens.
Yep.
And let's see, we'll be with you throughout the night.
Exactly.
Catch you later then.
Bye-bye. See you. Bye-bye.